Snake, have you ever seen For a Fistful of Dollars?
Nope, never.
It's a spaghetti western.
Spaghetti western?
It's really cool, especially the main character's stylish gunplay.
Gunplay?
I saw it in England on the Major's recommendation, but it hasn't come out in the States yet. It's so cool. They'll bring it to America, I'm sure. You have to see it sometime.
Sure.
This short cigar belongs to the man with no name. This long gun belongs to the man with no name. This poncho belongs to the man with no name.
Rico! Heard you wanted to see me.
Well, here we are again. Do you know what we're watching today?
We're watching the first in the Dollars trilogy, A Fistful of Dollars.
First in a trilogy?
Yeah.
Oh. So what, the next one's called...
A Few Dollars More, and then The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, right. I was kind of hoping it would be like a mouthful of dollars,
Yeah.
an ass full of dollars. You know, the
Right.
natural progression from fist.
Of course.
Fist to ass.
Yeah, I've seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. From what I understand, they're stylistically similar, and they use the same actors, but they aren't necessarily playing the same characters.
Oh, so it's a bit like a theatre production or something. Well, a lot of theatre productions, they do use the same actors and portray them as different characters, sometimes even in the same play.
Yeah, like a commedia dell'arte.
Well, it's funny actually, because the first example of that I can think of is there's a new comedy coming out to theatres. It's starring Steve Coogan, and it's Dr. Strangelove, which is actually the film I thought we were going to see today.
All right.
So I thought I was going to be able to talk about that, but now I am talking about that.
You could save that, build to that.
I suppose I could have, but it's too late now.
Yeah, well, I have actually seen Strangelove, and it is a good film, so I am looking forward to that one. But before that, we accidentally skipped one in the list. We gotta go back and watch Earth vs. Spider.
I don't think that film can be all that long, because one spider, this is the Earth. Come on.
Figured take the Earth just a second to deal with that.
Yeah.
From what I hear, it's pretty close.
Really?
I don't know.
So it's a bit like the World Wars, Germany versus the world.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've both seen quite a few westerns. I mean, it's hard to avoid them. They were hot shit for some time, weren't they?
I think the first western I saw technically wasn't even a western. It was more like a sci-fi. It's Back to the Future, Part 3.
Oh yeah, that might be it. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Have I seen Fievel Goes West before that? It's pretty close.
Well, it came out after.
Wait a minute. What about Three Amigos?
Oh yeah. It's a shame that isn't on the list. I've been meaning to watch that again. I do like it.
Yeah, classic. So yeah, I guess there's not much more to say. Let's get on into A Fistful of Dollars.
Yeehaw!
Okay, well, the first thing that comes to mind about that film, and I'm not sure why I'm that surprised, because it was sort of the case in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Clint Eastwood's not really a good guy in this, is he?
No, he's just the sort of man who happens upon a situation and, well, his approach to it is sort of like my approach in, say, Fallout games or, Elder Scrolls, where I look for the best way to profit from a situation.
Yeah, because he's sort of really a con artist, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's sort of playing everyone against each other so that he can come out on top. There's just one thing that goes wrong, which is when he's trying to get the gold, after getting these two guys to attack each other, he stumbles across a hostage and instead chooses to help her. And it's funny, because up till that point, I was like, this is a pretty amoral film. The film opens up. It's very non-verbal, which I like. He happens upon this scenario where his family's getting harassed by these guys. And he's just he drinks from their well, and he doesn't intervene, doesn't do anything. And it sort of gives this sense that, like, oh, he's kind of parasitic. Like, he's seeing this wretched scenario, and all he's doing is taking a drink, and he's not doing anything. But when he...
Well, I think at that point, he's sort of just taking the smarter approach. Because he doesn't know how many dudes are inside that building, and if he were to intervene, then chances are he'd just get blown away by, like, 6 dudes. Oh, wow. That was really bad phrasing.
Well, you did say blown away, so...
I did.
But I didn't get the sense that he was playing the long game there. I mean, like you say, it is smart. Like, if he does get involved, he doesn't know what's going to go on. He likes to set things up and be sure of everything. But I don't get the sense at that point he was planning to help them. I just think because he happens to be in that scenario, he took a shine to that woman. She reminded him of someone from his past who he couldn't help, so it sort of draws out his better nature. He's really on top for most of the film. He's just like playing these guys, making lots of money. It's only when he decides to do the right thing that he actually starts to get punished. So I got the sense of like it wasn't a morality play in a way that a typical Western is, where like you do the right thing and good things happen. It's like he does do the right thing, do the wrong thing. It doesn't matter. Something bad might happen to you, something good might happen to you. So I thought it was pretty cool like that.
Yeah, that's a good lesson actually, because while in real life you may see something quite horrible and you may want to do your part, reality checks in and then all of a sudden you're on the floor as a bloody pulp.
Yeah, and you don't, even if you do intervene, you don't know if things are going to turn out well. They might do, they might not.
Sometimes the best thing is to stay out of it.
Well, that's a great lesson we can all take home.
Yes.
But yeah, that was sort of my main takeaway. Because I think for a lot of the film, when we watch these, I try to think, oh, what did Hideo take from this? And I was expecting Lee Van Cleef to show up at some point, but he's not in it till the second one. So yeah, I was sort of strapped, and I was thinking of lots of other stuff. Like, I was sort of reminded more of, like, you know, Quentin Tarantino is inspired by a lot of his films, and like his films are pretty amoral in a sense, but they're very stylish. And I think this film's quite stylish in its music, and it's like, you know, there's a lot of low angles, a lot of high angles where, like, you know, the horizon's at the bottom or the horizon's at the top.
Yeah, the speaking of the music, I think the musical cues used in this film very Lupin the Third.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just because you'll hear that little jingle, doo-doo-doo-doo, whenever, like, he's about to make a move.
Yeah.
And you think, oh boy, what's he going to do? He's going to do something smart. He's going to do something real stupid.
Yeah. A lot of licks.
And actually, speaking of anime, the first half of this film, it's setting up a lot of the end action sequences. Because I actually found myself quite bored for a lot of it. There's a lot of exposition being told about this. Well, because there's a whole scene between the army and the guys who end up like dressing it as the opposing army.
Yeah, and we sort of figured out what was going on, but then there's a long scene after that where we're just sort of like saying, oh, if we do this and we do that, and so they're just going to forget about it and we'll get off scot-free or whatever.
Yeah, but ultimately, like, none of that really it's not really relevant at the end of the film.
Not really, just in the sense that, like, I mean, they're kind of con artists as well. They're just doing a bigger con. Even the law enforcement in this town, because you get into the town and there's that one guy who's like saying, oh man, it's bad here, man, don't come here, you're going to get killed. And that's sort of setting up what a badass this guy is, because he's not, like, reacting very much. But also, like, those thugs are kind of running their own racket. The law enforcement doesn't seem to be that great, because even they're kind of thuggish and don't seem to be intervening much. So it's just setting up this idea that this is a pretty amoral town. Yeah,
the only intervening they did was antagonizing the protagonist at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
And then they got killed immediately.
And there's that whole Western thing of you got to goad them into attacking you so that you can legally, well, not legally, but like you can attack them without getting in trouble.
I quite like that scene just because, well, first of all, it's establishing that Clint Eastwood in this film, surprise, surprise, is a kind of a badass.
Yes.
But secondly, another thing about Clint Eastwood, I don't know if this is a running theme or gag even. He looks at The Undertaker and he asks him to prepare 3 coffins because he thinks he's going to kill 3 of the lawmen.
Yeah.
He ends up killing 4. And then the joke is like, oh, sorry, I meant 4.
And you even predicted that, didn't you? It's like,
I did predict that.
Shot 4 guys.
But the thing is, that's something he does in these films. He like incorrectly, or he's bad at counting. That's really what it is. Because there's a whole scene. I think it is The Good, and Bad, and the Ugly, where he's talking about how many shots he's fired.
No, that's Dirty Harry you're thinking of.
Okay. Well, but anyway, I thought of that. And I'm just wondering now, is Clint Eastwood a genuinely bad count? Is he just bad at maths?
Maybe. But that's a good point you're making, because it sort of is foreshadowing the fact that while he is very tactically minded and he can sort of plan stuff, it doesn't go exactly to plan. And that just sort of like gets worse and worse as it goes on.
In terms of foreshadowing, there is one scene that I thought was going to come up again in the film. It's at the very beginning when he's walking toward the town and you see that noose hanging from a tree. I'm thinking, is that portraying dead man walking? Is he going to be in a really tight situation at the end of a film? And I don't know. I suppose you could say that he avoided the noose.
If I were to guess, I would say that it's just sort of, again, they're sort of putting a very fine point on it of how death is sort of hanging over this whole town, so I sort of took it like that.
No, that's probably true, yeah. What did you think to the relationship between the store owner and... What is the guy's name, anyway?
I don't think he has a name. I think in every one of these films, he has a different nickname, but you never find out what his real name is. Because in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, they just call him Blondie.
Oh.
In this, he's just called the Americano.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. But anyway, the fella who he's shacking up with, because he decides he doesn't want to stay with a bunch of Mexicans.
Well, he doesn't want to stay with a bunch, because he overhears a conversation and basically finds out, oh, these guys they're no good.
Yeah, they're gonna, like, kill me in my sleep.
Mm.
And so he politely goes, you can kill people in your sleep, that's fine. I will have no part in it. I will go somewhere else. And he does. He shacks it with that fella. And the first scene, he's like wide awake in his bed, and the old man comes out of his bed, leans over him, and he's just like, "Why do you not sleep? Why are you awake?" And I'm thinking, well, that's not how you approach somebody in bed, because he had no idea he was coming for him.
Yeah, that's true.
It was just a little bit awkward. I was thinking he was going to walk up to him, "Would you like to make love to me?" He goes, "No, that's all right."
I just sort of I was like, yeah, man, it's sort of creeping me out. It's weird that he can't relax because he's in a deadly town. One of the things that I thought, I didn't realise how foreshadowing this would be, but when he's set those two guys up against each other, the two groups, and he's raiding the base, there's a very long shot sort of focusing on all the barrels, and I thought, oh, they're going to be important later. And there were quite a bit. There was he finds the gold in a barrel, he escapes confinement with the barrels, then the barrels are used at the end to attack the Baxter boys, aren't they?
The Baxter boys, yeah.
Yeah. But I want to go back to that, actually, because, like I said, when I was watching it, I was thinking of loads of other stuff, like the Winchester. A lot of this reminded me of Edgar Wright, because, was it Edgar Wright or was it Sam Raimi? I think it was Edgar Wright, but he made a spoof of this called A Fistful of Fingers, if you remember that.
Never heard of that.
Oh, right, yeah. But then also, the pub in Shaun of the Dead is the Winchester, isn't it? And that's the gun that Finger uses. Even in the intro, you mentioned Back to the Future, and this film is actually mentioned in Back to the Future too, isn't it?
It is. I was waiting for it, but I was thinking, at one point, is he going to take... I thought he was going to take the breastplate from the Night Outfit.
Yeah, the only problem there is
that the bullets did,
in
fact, penetrate that armor.
But another bit of foreshadowing, the way... Because at first he uses the poncho to sort of conceal his hands. I guess that's sort of emblematic as well, in that he's sort of hiding his true intentions, but he'll throw it back when he's ready to throw down. And that's sort of settled for later when he's hidden the breastplate under it. But the bit where he's captured, that was where it really got Metal Gear for me, because there's always a bit in Metal Gear where you get captured and tortured. Mm. And that's one of my favourite tropes in media, is when the hero really, they take a beat down, but then they sort of bounce back. And he sort of, escapes with a barrel, he's having to crawl around, and he's like going under the crawl spaces and stuff, like in Metal Gear. And there's even a bit where the guards come in and they say, "What was that noise?"
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was sort of the most Metal Gear-y bit. Other than that, I guess there's a lot of double crossing, but that's just sort of a Revolver Ocelot thing, isn't it?
Yeah. The whole film, I was thinking, how much exactly did Hideo take from this? And obviously, yeah, what you said, the escape, that was very Metal Gear. But another thing, from a personality perspective, Clint Eastwood, he has these plans in these films. And when he's at the graveyard with the store fella, and he's like putting those bodies there, the whole time, the fella's like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you not telling me?" He says, "Hey, just trust me. I know what I'm doing." And that's like the opposite of Snake, where everyone else has like got their plans, and he's completely out of the loop, and no one tells him what's going on. And then I remembered that in Metal Gear Solid 2, Snake is the one who has all these plans, and Raiden's the one who's out of the loop. And I was waiting for a scene where like he finally does like reveal what his plans is. And he goes, "Why didn't you tell me? You never asked."
Or "You're changing sides now? I don't recall saying I was on yours."
Yeah, that's very relevant. He was playing both sides.
I will say, the whole thing with the shooting the heart, it was quite obvious the way they built it up. He's specifically shooting the heart, he's testing the thing later. But then they really sort of hammer it home in the final scene, like, I guess because they're worried people have forgotten about it. It's like, "Remember, shoot me in the heart like you did earlier in scene 32. Like, bing, bing. Come on, you gotta shoot me in the heart if you gotta stop me."
Well, that's definitely playing to the whole, like, because there's a lot of Western films where the main baddie is being antagonized, and that's how he like loses it, because he's a formidable gunman, but you have to antagonize him so that they lose their edge and they become nervous and they tremble. It's like what's that online cartoon?
Oh, Toonstone.
Yeah,
with the apple.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah, nom 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 nom. But okay, I'm surprised we haven't got to this yet. So obviously, the whole thing with spaghetti westerns is that they were filmed in Italy because it was cheaper. They would just sort of, dirty up all the actors to make them look kind of Mexican. So, that's not really cool to do now, but, they did a whole bunch back then. And then they would dub it because everyone would be speaking their own native language, pretty much. So they just do the best they could. And the dub in this is kind of cartoony. Like, there's a bunch of times where I was thinking, that guy sounds like Bluto. And even when he finally gets crushed by the barrel, I was like, that's like just like a cartoon.
That's straight out of Popeye.
But what we got in this was another premium bad kid performance.
Oh god! So thank God there weren't more of them.
Yeah,
it was just the one kid.
But the way the kid's mouth moves and the way the dub is just so naff. And he sees his mother, he goes, "Mama, mama."
Yeah, and he's just got his mouth open. He's just porging. He's not moving his lips at all. He's just going, "Mama."
You know what it reminded me of is Kung Pao, where it was going, "Chosen one,
I'm coming." Yeah, that's a good scene. Let's watch that next.
Yeah. Other than that, it wasn't super distracting. It was obviously dubbed, but I guess because the whole film's like that, you just kind of get used to it.
I didn't realise that westerns were dubbed. I only realised this a couple of weeks ago when I was watching television, and I was watching another western film, and I noticed that everyone was being dubbed, and I thought, wow, even the main character is being dubbed. This is so strange. But Clint Eastwood, he didn't seem like he was being dubbed.
No.
Which made me think that's another sort of parallel to Hideo Kojima. You know how he's always pasting his name everywhere. He's very proud of his work. And I was thinking, well, Clint Eastwood has singled himself out as the only one who's not being dubbed because he's like, I always sound great.
Yeah.
Everyone else sounds stupid compared to me.
I think the reason the dubbing also works, even though it's quite over the top, is that a lot of the physical acting is really over the top. Like, whenever anyone dies, they really ham it up. They're like, "Ooh!" And like one guy does a spin and like holds his head. And
oh, bother, I've been shot.
There was another bit when he's saving the family, because I think the implication I got is that the wife is having to sleep with or entertain all those guys to sort of pay off the other guy's debt. Is that what was going on?
No, I don't think it was that. I think he was just being cooked.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, they're a gang. They can just take whoever they want.
Well, I know, but I thought, because he was saying don't go over to that house because the men are in there, and I assumed that's what... But that was... Anyway, Clint Eastwood goes to save him, and he walks in. There's like 5 guys there, takes him unawares, he's got a gun. And the one at the front tries to do like a fake out where he like pretends like he's relaxing and does a little spin to try and get him. And I thought that was pretty funny. But then there's a bit after that where he's round the corner in the other room. There's another guy around the corner who's going to shoot him, and she's like at a right angle across the room. And the way it's shot, it makes it look like she can see him and he can see her, and she like goes, "Oh no, the guy around the corner's going to get you." But that doesn't work like, that's just sort of a sense I get of these old films, is like they're just doing stuff that's cool. It doesn't necessarily have to make sense. And yeah, like he comes around the corner afterwards, but they're like making eye contact, and it's like, that's impossible. There's a wall between you.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
And that's another thing that's like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Very theatrical, these people. They can't do anything normally or simply. They have to really go over the top. At the end, where he's doing the whole, "Come on, you gotta shoot me in the heart." And then he doesn't shoot him then. He lets him try to reload and then shoots him. And it's just like, God, you're such a prima donna.
It honestly does seem like they are compensating with overacting. Because, yeah, like you say, there's no vision between the woman in that scene and Clint. And I suppose her just going, "Oh!" is enough to distract people from that.
Yeah.
But it didn't get past us.
No
chance. There's another scene actually where when he's dropped that barrel on those 2 fellas and he's left the room and he crawls away because he hears more of them coming. He was not hiding at all. His torso was maybe behind a wall, but you could tell that his legs were just sticking out in the corridor, and they were like, and when you see those guys coming in, I was like, wait, how are they not seeing his legs are right there?
Yeah, and
but they panned the camera up so you wouldn't be able to see his legs. But where are his legs?
Yeah,
They don't recede back into his body like two testicles. I don't know.
There was even the bit where he sort of kills those guys, and then he sort of ransacks the place to make it look like bandits have hit it or something. And he stays to make sure that the other guys come over and they go, "Oh my god, bandits must have ransacked this place." And he's like, "Yes, exactly according to plan." But then he gets on his horse and rides off, and it's like, if they just turn around, they'll see him. So there is this sort of theatrical element to everything where, like, people can do soliloquies and people can be off to the side and not seen, and just got to roll with it. And then he's, like, having to ride back and forth. I said it was, what was that Resident Evil parody that was on YouTube?
It was by the Bentley Bros.
And there's a sort of that joke where the merchant has to keep...
he hops on a bicycle so he can get to the next merchant area before Leon does.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I thought that was pretty funny, but then he was just like actually having to do it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that eventually became his downfall because it was that very night that, even though he got back in time, there was a fella waiting there for him. Romano. Was it Romano? Ray Romano?
It's something like that. But to my understanding, they were on their way there and they sort of saw him go there and kill everyone. Something like that, yeah, I don't know. But they figured him out. You know, he pushed his luck.
Oh, it took me the entirety of the film to realise where I know the theme tune from. And while it might have been in many commercials, adverts, whatever you want to call them, I know it from, there was a show, for those who don't know, called Balls of Steel on UK television. And there was a participant called Nedge, and he used to do these Nedge's Urban Sports. And one of the episodes, he would jump on people's back and like go, "Come on, ride a cowboy, come on!" And when he's making his approach, it's playing that theme.
Yeah, I remember that actually. I've heard it in adverts and stuff, but obviously I do recognise it from A Fistful of Fingers. A lot of the music in this whole trilogy is just like quintessential Western music. I just have a stray notes on the filmmaking here. Like I say, I like the high angles and low angles, making everything interesting. There's a bit at night where it's quite dark, but then there's like this rim lighting, like this blue rim lighting for the moonlight, which is pretty neat. The old cliche of him rolling into town and like everyone's peeking through the windows, like that's pretty classic Western, isn't it?
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of an episode of Red Dwarf, Gunman of the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And also, another thing reminded me of Red Dwarf. Do you remember the fella, when he was being tortured, there was that fellow who kept like laughing every time he got punched?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he eventually reminded me of the Low Lister from the Demon and Angels episode. You remember how he used to laugh?
Oh, the Low Lister, right?
Yeah, the Low Lister.
For some reason, when you said that, I was thinking of like someone on a list, and I was like, the Low Lister. But yeah, no, I know what you mean now.
Yeah, and he was dressed like a cowboy.
Yeah, he was,
so
wasn't
perhaps maybe his character was influenced by this film.
It's very possible. A couple other things. I just love cobbled walls. I mean, cobbled pavements are cool, but if you get like a cobbled wall in one of these films and you light it properly, it just looks really, really cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, I gotta say, I might prefer walls to floors.
And then at the end, when he, again being theatrical, he sets off a bunch of dynamite and emerges from the smoke like a demon almost.
I wonder if The Undertaker was annoyed that that's what he used the dynamite for.
Yeah. I think he would have been pleased because he seemed quite entertained by all the theatrics, didn't he?
I found it weird how he looked away at the final moment. He was about to gun them all down or gun down the last guy. And he just looked away and I was like, really? You gonna look away now? Or are you crying over the dynamite misuse?
But I guess, he really does, he stirs the pot, he stirs shit, he really gets everyone going. So he's really sort of ravaged this town in a way, but I guess the people there didn't really like the law. They certainly didn't like the gang. So maybe the town's just better off. They didn't seem,
being deserted?
Yeah.
Because how many people are actually there at the end? There's the bell guy, the store guy, and the Undertaker.
And everyone who was peeking out the windows as well.
I didn't see them at the end.
Well, they weren't there, but they were probably in their houses, right?
They were all where the dynamite went off. They all died.
So he's really just fucked up his whole town.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, well, it's been nice seeing you all. Sorry about killing just about everybody in this town.
Guess I'll be rolling out. Yeah, no, I think all in all, I had pretty succinct feelings towards this film. I enjoyed it. Like you say, it was a little slow in places, but I think sometimes it's nice to have a good build-up. Yeah, right. You agree? Yeah, I mean, for the benefit of a listener, he did nod, but then that was it.
No, I did have something else to say. Yeah, I thought with how it was paced, it kind of reminded me of a filler episode of anime. How there was a lot of exposition at the beginning, and then it was kind of like an episode of Dragon Ball. We all know there's gonna be a big finale, fight scene. That's what we're really waiting for.
Yeah.
We have to get everything else out the way, and then I suppose at the end it's so much sweeter to see it all unfold because you've been waiting all that time.
Yeah. So next time we accidentally skipped a film in the listing, didn't we?
No.
Yes, in fact, I already mentioned this in the intro, so it's not even really a reveal.
That's not even our fault, though. It's
No.
Paramedics.
Yeah, because it was listed as Lost Planet. Now, what is that all about?
You're a fool.
Oh, God. We really, really got to stop setting her off. I mean, I keep forgetting she does have the gun, doesn't she?
Yeah. Oh, and what's that sound? That was terrible.
Yeah, I don't even know what that was.
What do you mean? It was a theme song.
Oh, that's more like... Ah, damn it. My lip's too dry. Yeah, now I'm laughing too much. Give me a second. Stop it. Stop it. It's my turn. Eh?
Yeah.
All right.